What up, y'all? Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday, but tomorrow I will be reviewing the movie I was going to review yesterday, Reign of Fire. Awesome flick, so I'm reviewing that tomorrow. But seeing as today is Friday the 13th, just adjusting the fan real quick. Seeing as today is Friday the 13th, I am going to be doing a Jason related video. So, what I decided to do, I was going to initially pitch a Michael versus Jason thing, but I'm going to save that for October. But what I'll do is we're going to rank the Jasons. There have been 13 films if you include the original. But remember, Pamela doesn't count, so she's out. And then we're not counting Roy from part 5. So there's theoretically only 11 Jasons we've seen. And that includes, the baby Jason in the first one, so he doesn't count either. So we're only talking about the ones we saw in those films. So for pretty much Friday Part 2 through the remake minus 5. So I guess if we start with the worst, and this will be number 11. Number 11 is Jason from Part 2. Actually, no. No. That's going to be my, probably number 10. My number 11 is Jason from Jason Take Joe Goes to Hell. Obvious reasons. That wasn't even Jason. We barely saw him, and I actually think he looks like shit. I think that design for him, that might be my least favorite Jason look, like, of all the movies. And how I'm gonna rank this is, I think brutality is obviously gonna be a number 1, and I'm not gonna really take design into account. I'm more taking like brutality of the film, or just of that Jason. But yeah, Jason in Jason Goes to Hell wasn't even Jason. He was like Jason for the beginning, and then he gets blown up, and then he comes back in the end just to get sent to hell. And he looked like shit, so he's the last one. Number 10 is Part 2 Jason. While this is debut Jason, and I'm not a fan of the sack head. I just think it's there was already a killer with a sack head before that movie. It was called I think it was the town that dreaded sundown, which was about like a killer and he wore a sack over his head. So, and this was, I think, pre Friday the 13th. This was like, I think it was from like the 70s, and it was very derivative. Not just the look. He was very bumbling. He had decent kills, like when he killed the dude in the wheelchair. Trying to think the most brutal. When he impaled the girl and the guy in the bed, he had some decent kills. It's just, the problem is, once like the chase started and it was revealed, because the way they were doing is they were kind of doing it like Part 1, where you only saw his hands. You didn't know it was Jason until like they did the reveal of his mask. And when he started chasing Ginny, and he was just kind of a bumbling goof in that, just constantly falling over. He was on a chair and just instantly breaks. And I get it, Jason's slow, so of course I'm not saying he should be smart, but he just was kind of a bumbling kind of idiot in like that last chase. Like, he was cool in the beginning, and that was all because they were still trying to do it like Part 2. So that's the number 10. I guess number 9 would be Jason from Takes Manhattan. I don't like that look, especially how badass he looked in Part 7. And then just in this one, he just looks like... He had decent kills, but he was teleporting. I didn't feel like we got a lot of Jason in it in a weird way. Like, we did get Jason. He had some decent kills. But like I said, there was no Crystal Lake, and I get it. They wanted to kind of switch it up, but it was on a boat most of the time. And then the way he gets kind of taken out and he was just walking through shit. And I love Kane Hodder's Jason, but yeah, this was my least favorite of like I guess his time. No, because I think he was Kane Hodder was Jason, and the shitty Jason Goes to Hell, but it's one of them. I don't like his look in that movie, and I don't know. I just and the whole weird telekinesis thing he was having with Rennie, the main chick from it. So number 8 would be Jason from Part 3. I think he had some decent kills, but he kind of had the same problem as the second one. Once the chase started, he kind of was bumbling. Not as bad like in Part 2, but I don't know. But I will admit, this is gonna always hold a special because this is Jason from, uh, the this is the first time Jason wore the hockey mask. So of course, it's gonna always have like that special place, and he had some decent kills. Like when he split the one dude in half, he was fucking brutal. He killed a pregnant chick. Like it's just that last chunk where he gets kind of like, I understand especially as a slasher fan, the killer's gonna be taken out, but he just axe to the face, and he was kind of a bumbling a little bit too, chasing her. So that's why I put him a little bit lower. But he's not terrible. So this is we're 7 now. So we're close to the top 5. So number 7 would be Jason from Freddy vs. Jason. The reason he's a little bit lower was because I don't like the Frankenstein look they went with. Because they already kind of did that already with Part 6 Jason. And it's like they're kind of doing it again, but let's make him look like Frankenstein, like with the big jacket, his ginormous boots. It's like Jason's was already big. I just think they went a little bit overboard, but there is some positives. I think there was some really good kills. I mean, he had pretty much had all the kills in Freddy vs. Jason, which I did watch earlier. So I watched like an hour ago. So I think Freddy vs. Jason's decent. Ken Kersinger, I know a lot of people go in on him because, it's mainly because they wanted Kane Hodder in Freddy vs. Jason, and he ended up getting it, which I will agree is fucking stupid because Kane Hodder is synonymous with Jason just because the amount of films he's done. But Jason and Freddy vs. Jason's okay. So, like, 7 is like, we're in the okay section now. He wasn't horrible. I thought he had some decent moments. Now, number 6 would be Jason from Part 7. So this Jason, in my opinion, is the best look. But for me, remember, I'm not going strictly by design, but definitely my favorite design of Jason. NECA's making a figure. I want to get that shit. I love that design of Jason. Like, he is the epitome. Like, when you think zombie Jason, I think that one. Like, where you could see, like, his skeletal back and, like, a bunch of skin missing because he's been underwater since Part 6. But the problem is he gets beaten with telekinesis, which was too much. And, unfortunately, a lot of the kills were cut really quick because of the And it's ironic because the MPAA rating would be different now because there's far more violent movies. Literally 30 Days a Night, the movie I reviewed a couple days ago, far more violent than any of the Friday the 13th movies. Literally, like, I would argue that movie is more violent than, like, all of them. Like, that movie goes fucking, it's violent. So, it's weird. In 87? No, 88. I think this film was 88. So this film came out in 1988. It's interesting, like, kind of like you look back in as almost like a time capsule of, like, wow, that's where the MPA was. They thought this movie was too violent, so they unfortunately had to cut a lot of the kills. There is the unedited versions, but they're very much rough footage. It doesn't look great. So, and you can clearly tell they were still shooting. Kane Hodder makes a bit of sound effects in it. So it's clearly like him doing it, but they probably cut the sound effects out. So yeah. So it's very rough footage, but you can get like that original like rough footage of the kills. But yeah, they cut it. So that's why he's in number 6. Design wise he's great, but now in top 5. Number 5 would be Jason from the remake. I think Jason from the remake is insane. Um, I think Jason in the remake is insane. Derek Mears, I think is his name, did a really good job. I don't like the trapping angle. He felt a little Leatherface-ish. The traps was cool. I more meant the kidnapping angle, where he like kidnapped the one girl because she kind of looked like his mom. I said this in the review. I just not into that. I don't. Jason when he doesn't take prisoners. That's not Jason. But Derek Mears killed it. I thought some of the kills were like where he killed the Trent guy with the fucking tow truck, the axe through the chest of the one dude. Um, he's pretty brutal in that film, and I thought it was a nice like at least Jason Strictly. They did a good job of like capturing like a modernized at that time because this movie was 2009 Jason. So I think they did a good job. So now to the top four. Now number four would be Jason's, and I'm kind of separating it. Jason X and Jason X is the metal version, and then I'm gonna have the regular human version because I to me think they're two different. So Jason in Freddy versus in Jason X, the metal version was a cool concept. I remember seeing a picture of it and I'm like, okay, this is a bit much. When you actually watch it in the movie, I thought he looked cool. Yeah, he didn't get as much kills, but you know what? I think he did a really good job. Number three is Jason from Part 6. One of my favorite films, so obviously it's gonna be in higher up. But Jason and Jason Lives is insane. Like he, yeah, the movie is a bit more comical at times, like some of the kills, but I still feel like he's pretty brutal. Like killing a couple, just getting out of the grave, and when he killed Tom's Tommy's friend, like with the fucking hand through the chest. It's like holy shit. Or um, slicing three heads in half, even though it was kind of comical, like done in a little bit of a comedy style. It wasn't too comical. It was so done in a way where it's like, oh my god. When he was like when the cops showed up in Crystal Lake, because I just watched this, that's why I vividly remember this. They just show up and Jason just was taking them out separately. And when he ended up killing Megan's dad, the sheriff, my god, like bending him in half. I'm like, oh. So that's my number three. Number two, number two is Jason from the final chapter. In my opinion, of the like I guess human Jasons before he becomes a zombie and Jason Lives. In my opinion, this is the best one, and he's my second favorite because watching this earlier, Jason in final chapter is brutal, like snapping a guy's neck in the hospital. Yeah, very. It did feel a little bit like they wanted to give a little bit of a callback to Halloween 2, but not too much. And then when he kills fucking Crispin Glover, who's Marty McFly's dad, my god. He was like, where's the corkscrew? And Jason just like stabs it in his hand, and it's like, holy shit. That gets me every time. Even though it's kind of a quick cut, and then he cleavers him in the face, it's just like, holy shit. Jason's fucking brutal in this film. I mean, and then when Tommy's sister, goes back to the house, Jason has like all the bodies displayed, like it is crazy. Like he's fucking violent in that movie. Like I just think he goes hard in it. So that's my second favorite version of Jason. Number one is Jason X. Jason is like before he becomes metal, he is fucking brutal in that film. Taking out the military, obviously has my favorite kill in the entire franchise where he freezes the girl's head and slams it. And freezes the girl's head in liquid nitrogen and just slams it on the table. And then just the way he would systematically take people out in the school, he was taking out the military. Like he clotheslined one dude into like a fucking like it was like a drill looking thing. It was he's fucking violent in that movie. Like Jason to me, but just that's my number one. But the Friday the 13th franchise, one of the things about it, yeah, did it kind of start off as like a Steven, the original creator, said it. Halloween came out, rip it off. So, but it became a thing of its own. Like Jason is just such a good character, even though he doesn't talk, but the lore around him, and then just the fact that he's just willing to kill because he wants to protect Crystal Lake, and I mean his mom. Just the story of Jason's actually really good, when you think about it. Yeah, to me he's not scary because when I watch Jason films, I do watch it. I kind of do root for him, and 90% of the time I do. I'm like, Jason, fuck him up. That's kind of what I feel like these movies are for, and like Halloween, where it's different. But Jason's awesome, so I just, I haven't made a Friday the 13th related thing in a while, and figuring today's Friday the 13th, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it. Tomorrow, I will be doing a Reign of Fire review. I rewatched it last night. It's an awesome film. I think it's very underrated. Not a lot of people know about it. Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, really awesome dragon film. So I'll review that tomorrow. But yeah. But yeah. Other than that, I'll talk to you. Talk to y'all tomorrow. But as usual, fuck Warner Brothers, and WB lost money. Fuck Disney. Fuck bitch ass Kevin Smith. Fuck James Mangold. Fuck LeBron James. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.